America, once heralded as the land of opportunity, is now unraveling before our eyes. The signs are everywhere: economic instability, media manipulation, rampant corruption, and a society increasingly divided. While many still cling to the illusion of American exceptionalism, the cracks in the foundation are too deep to ignore. The fall of America is not a sudden collapse, but a slow, methodical deterioration brought about by greed, deception, and systemic failure. The American economy, once a beacon of prosperity, is now teetering on the brink of disaster. The middle class, the backbone of the nation, has been systematically eroded. Wages have stagnated while the cost of living skyrockets. Homeownership, once a cornerstone of the American dream, is now out of reach for many, as housing prices and interest rates soar. Meanwhile, the wealth gap continues to widen, with the top 1% hoarding resources while everyday citizens struggle to afford basic necessities. The devaluation of the US dollar, coupled with reckless government spending, has put the country on a path toward inevitable financial collapse. In America, the media is not a source of truth. It's a tool of control. Corporate-owned news outlets shape public perception, pushing narratives that benefit the elite while keeping the masses distracted and divided. Investigative journalism has been replaced by propaganda, ensuring that those in power remain unchecked. Social media platforms, once seen as a means of free expression, have become heavily censored echo chambers designed to suppress dissent. The result? A population that is misinformed, emotionally manipulated, and too distracted by trivialities to recognize the real threats to their freedom. Under the guise of safety and progress, the American government has stripped its citizens of their rights. Surveillance is omnipresent, with tech companies and federal agencies monitoring our every move. Free speech is under attack, with voices that challenge the status quo being silenced. The judicial system, supposedly built on justice, operates on corruption and corporate influence. Meanwhile, law enforcement is militarized, turning the very institutions meant to protect the people into forces of oppression. As political theater distracts the masses, those in power continue to erode civil liberties with little resistance. America thrives on war, not peace. Let that sink in. The military-industrial complex profits from perpetual conflict, funneling billions of taxpayer dollars into foreign interventions that do little but destabilize nations and create enemies. Meanwhile, American veterans return home broken, physically, mentally, and financially neglected. The irony is glaring. A nation that claims to fight for freedom abroad is actively eroding freedom at home. While politicians justify military spending in the name of national security, it is clear that these wars serve only to enrich the elite while leaving ordinary Americans to suffer. Healthcare in America is a business, not a human right. The pharmaceutical industry, in collusion with the government, exploits illness for profit. Prescription drug prices are astronomically high, and millions of Americans are buried under medical debt. Big Pharma's influence extends beyond healthcare, as it funds politicians and dictates policy, ensuring that the cycle of disease and dependency never ends. Rather than promoting wellness, the system thrives on chronic conditions, ensuring that sick people remain lifelong customers. As America chases money for power, it has lost its moral compass. The fabric of society is unraveling, with families disintegrating, crime rising, and communities falling apart. Materialism and instant gratification have replaced discipline and integrity. Entertainment glorifies violence, degeneracy, and ignorance, conditioning generations to embrace self-destruction. The erosion of strong values has left many Americans feeling empty and directionless, contributing to the nation's overall decline. America's fall is not just about politics or economics. It's about the very soul of a nation. The corruption, greed, and moral decay have reached a point of no return. While some may still believe in the possibility of reform, the reality is far grimmer. The American experiment, built on lofty ideals, is now a cautionary tale of what happens when a society values power over people, profits over principles, and illusion over truth. The question is no longer whether America is falling. It is how much longer before it completely collapses. Thank you for listening. I love you all. On to the next one. Lancescurv out.
Lancescurv.com. Bold, raw, and uncut.